What do you make of that back and forth? Let's start with, I want to get to Biden, but the inflationary topics and the cost of living, and Pierre Poilievre just hammering Trudeau over and over again over it.
It's clear to me, watching Poilievre, and I have known him for years. I was sat across from him for the times that he was minister, for example. I have to say that he's starting to find his mark with Trudeau, and I find Trudeau, uncharacteristically, I find him rattled. In one of his answers there, he completely flubbed the answer. And that's just not like Trudeau. He's usually quite good. He's usually on his game in this sort of day. You're right also to point out that Wednesday is caucus day. Everybody's there. People are pumped. They're looking for a good performance. And as soon as Trudeau made that misstep in his answer, I just see people looking down at their desks. They weren't proud of the way things were going for them. Poilievre has a head of steam on him right now. I mean, my personal politics, of course, we're on very much the opposite end of the spectrum from his. But just as a political observer today, I can say that Poilievre is clearly getting very good training, very good preparation. He's much sharper. He's much clearer. And his messages, his core messages, they're starting to get through. And I think that that's what's rattling Trudeau. I think he was looking down on Poilievre a little bit when he arrived, saying, nothing to worry about here. He's the darling of the extreme right of the Conservative Party. He won't get through to the average Canadian. But this type of pocketbook issue, talking about young people living in their parents' basements, it's getting through. And Trudeau's comeback, when Poilievre said, look, it's gone up, it's doubled. In the 8 years that you're there, the mortgage prices have doubled, what people are paying for the average house, what people are paying for rent, it's doubled. And Trudeau's lame answer was to say, well, you want to start talking about what things were like when my father was the prime minister. No, Mr. Trudeau, that wasn't the point. No, he was going back 8 years since you became prime minister. So I think that Trudeau is going to have to sharpen his game. He's going to have to do the same thing that Poilievre is clearly doing, getting help and advice from some very, very good people who know a lot about communications.
All right, tee up the visit by President Biden as well, if you can, Tom, for us. The stakes here for Justin Trudeau. It's often said it's the most important relationship for any Canadian prime minister, how you manage that with the U.S. president.
It is by far Canada's most important relationship, full stop. Let's start with that. It's an obvious thing to say because we're each other's largest trading partners. We share the world's longest undefended border, and I guess that's going to be one of the topics. I mean, what's happening at the U.S. border in the south makes everything that happens on the Canada-U.S. border pale by comparison, but Canadians are worried. We see tens of thousands of people crossing at irregular crossing points, like the famous Roxham Road in Quebec, and people are saying, well, we don't have the social and health services and education services to take care of all these people, in addition to the more than 1 million people who came to Canada last year by regular and recognized means. So there's a really difficult problem that we've got to deal with. I think that will be part of the conversation. Biden will have certain things perhaps to ask back. When Canada got rid of the visa system for people coming from Mexico, everybody warned that it might be a problem. And apparently there have been a lot of crossings of those people who land in places like Toronto and Montreal going into the States once they got into Canada without a visa. So that's something that we're going to have to make a concession on. The Americans are going to want real help, not talk about NORAD, about putting in the new radar systems in our Arctic areas, and are we going to be able to deliver on that? We haven't been very good at buying systems for our military, Todd. So I think that's exactly the type of thing that's going to be on the table. But as a backdrop, a great relationship that's been there for a long time. Reciprocity has always been the byword. We understand each other's needs. We look at each other's economies. They complete each other. The Americans sometimes come up with things that go against the deals that we make on freer trade. But at the same time, most of the time, we can usually, iron those out and come up with something that works for both sides.
Appreciate this, Tom. Thank you.